Last week on the 26th of February, raids were conducted by our law enforcement agencies. Three persons were arrested and they've been charged for suspected fraud. Investigations are going on. There has been some speculation linking this case with the potential circumvention of US export controls for advanced NVIDIA chips. Now, this case is unrelated. It's an independent investigation conducted by Singapore. We received an anonymous tip-off. It was not a tip-off or information from any country or sovereign entity, but we took the tip-off seriously. Investigation showed potential breaches of our domestic laws, and so we moved quickly to deal with it. I have to emphasize, it's very preliminary information. Essentially, the case relates to servers with chips embedded in them coming into Singapore, and then from Singapore they went to Malaysia. The servers were supplied by Dell and Supermicro. But the servers may have been intended for some other country, even though from Singapore they went to Malaysia. And if there were false representations within Singapore about final destination, that's an offense under Singapore laws. Now, we assess that these servers may contain items which are subject to US export controls. I say we assess, we do not know for certain, so that's the best we can put it at. And we expect all companies operating in Singapore to take into account other countries' unilateral export controls which apply to their international business activities. And we also expect companies operating in Singapore to conduct their businesses transparently. We only know what we know in Singapore. We have no visibility beyond our borders, and therefore we have asked both the US and Malaysia for more information so as to assist in our investigations. The US, because the supplying companies are linked to the US, we will need information and documents from the United States. Malaysia, because the servers went there. Information on where they went from Malaysia, if at all they went anywhere else, will obviously be within Malaysian control. And we will need the information both from the United States and Malaysia for us to both investigate and potentially prosecute the cases. We have long-standing good cooperation with the law enforcement agencies in the US and Malaysia, and on that basis we have asked. And if the servers did contain export control items, US export control items, we have told the US that we will be happy to work with them and support any investigations in the US on that. There's long-standing cooperation between the US and Singapore on these issues. And that includes joint outreach activities to companies operating in Singapore. So US agencies and we have done outreach activities. We have told companies in Singapore how the US rules, regulations, export controls may apply to their activities. And really, it is in our interest to protect the integrity of the business environment in Singapore and protect Singapore's reputation.